right, everyone. Thank you for attending. This is the very first Launchpad Corner event where we're going to provide you guys with insane amounts of value. You can come forward, learn about latest tech stacks, learn about things that we're doing in Launchpad, find out about things, and also ask us questions that you might have. So we've got some of the members from the Launchpad team here. We've got Sheher, we've got Isham, and we've got Rama. So they'll be sprinkled throughout the chat. You'll have the Q&A, so you can ask any questions for whatever questions you might want to ask. We ask that everyone remains muted, and if you want to talk, raise your hand, and then at the appropriate juncture we'll ask you to speak. And then just bear in mind that this event is being recorded. It will be available after the recording, and also we will be providing the repo to those people that fill in the questionnaire that we have, and that repo is directly what Isam is going to be showing us later on today. So we'll be covering quite a few things, but I want to hand over to Isam. So Isam, can you please take it away and show the good people what it is that they're here for today?
Hi everyone. So a brief introduction about myself. I was raised in UAE. I completed my engineering from Heriot-Watt University, followed by completing MBA from Manipal. So currently I'm specializing as machine learning engineer. For the couple of years, like for several years, I've been working on it. So recently I have recognized as LinkedIn top voice in data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence due to my contributions on LinkedIn, the technical articles. And these are some of the organizations I've worked for over these years. And Tech Resource Bank. So Tech Resource Bank will include it can be in form of projects also, it can be the function also, which is commonly used, basically to expedite to build the SaaS products basically. So now currently we have the AI short generator project, which is created by our team, followed by the audio pre-processing. So initially we always Google the functions which is required, for example, sampling the audio while, for training, the text to speech or speech to text models. We need to comply to their frequency basically as per their pre-trained models. So for that, pre-processing functions are required. Then backend fundamentals are also present, such as Dockerization, then fast API. Then there are some projects which is based on classical machine learning, and there are nodes also for that. And then there is cool generative AI projects, which is based on generative AI basically. And deep learning now it is empty, but in the future we'll include it, which is purely based on PyTorch and TensorFlow. We'll not use Hugging Face, which is cover like a wrapper for PyTorch and TensorFlow. Then there is research papers. It's better I show demo. This is our repo. Here is the AI Shorts project. Then this is where all the projects which I've discussed. Here is the audio pre-processing repo. This includes, so basically this folder structure I follow. I'm not keeping in one, we can even keep in one Python file, but I have a habit of, putting into separate folders basically. So let's see audio manipulation. So utils folder includes all the helper commonly used functions basically. Here it is not there, but here we are using the libraries basically. Utils is that folder. Then we can have many other folders as well. These are the commonly used functions for pre-processing. This will change the format of the audio. Convert audio format from MP4 to OGG, then trim audio from any length, from start point to end point, then adjust volume. We can lower or increase the volume of the audio using this function. Concatenate, like we can join multiple audios and combine them into one file. Applying fade, then normalizing audio. There are different audio loudness basically. So to maintain them, like to normalize them, we use this function, normal audio. Then there is stats. We get all the information using this class basically. All the statistics can be computed using stats.py. Then there is, and here includes this will include all the basic necessary like fast API, which is not here, will include in the future soon. Here there is Docker basics, so anyone can learn Docker from this repo itself. Then there is classical machine learning projects which our team has done. House price prediction, then exploratory data analysis and machine learning using TensorFlow decision forest. This also. Then there is cool generative AI projects. So this are some of the projects which is used using OpenAI or Hugging Face libraries basically.
Yeah, and one thing as well, Isham, if you don't mind me just saying and coming in over here, is that the purpose of the Tech Resource Bank is that it's something that we're going to make available repo by repo to people who attend all of our events. So when you have people that are, for example, interested in attending an event, or if we want to reward people, reward participation, reward the engagement, you're going to get an idea. So the first workshop is the AI shorts generator that we've been working on. We have a full podcast episode that we've recorded that will be coming out about that shortly, and we will be announcing when that workshop will be taking place. But you know that everyone that attends in there, we will make our source code that we've made for that available for them. So it's one of the many ways that we're rewarding people by driving engagement. Isham, I'll give it back to you. I think that's quite a good overview of the Tech Resource Bank. Let's progress forward. Thanks, guys.
Sure. So now, like last week, Google has released Gemini models, and they have made it publicly available only the pro model, basically the pro version, which is used for powering up the BART. Before it was Palm 2, now they're using pro model. Nano model is developed for using it in mobile devices basically, and Ultra is used for performing very complex tasks, which is almost impossible for human beings, but Ultra will be able to do it very easily. And also it will help us saving in our time. So today's agenda, the main thing is to demonstrate the main purpose of this session, to show how Gemini models work basically. Unlike OpenAI, it is kind of complicated. So we have all got setup done, which was the most difficult part. But once the setup is done, it is very easy to run. So initially we need to go in ai.google.dev, build with Gemini. So first we get API key. Then we get API key and click. So this API key will be used basically for the project. So there are two ways actually, Google AI Studio and Vertex also. But as of now, the Vertex AI, this will have more features in the more features in the future basically, and this will be actually more powerful for controlling. But in Vertex AI, it is still in preview. It's not fully released. Some capabilities are released and some are still in preview mode. So to make things easier, we will use Google AI Studio, which is giving us a lot more control. For example, safety settings. When I used Vertex AI library, I was unable to do it. But when using Google AI Studio library, I was able to programmatically modify also the safety settings. This one's harassment, hate speech, sexually explicit, this all we can change programmatically now in our code. But in the future, Vertex AI also will make it more possible. And since it is linked to Google Cloud, it will be more powerful. Basically, it will be connected to more APIs, so there will be more interaction. Just like how OpenAI is connected to a lot of plugins, we can think of it as plugins basically. So now we can start the demo. So before starting, I'll show the utils function. So common libraries. These are all the libraries here I've put. And this 3 lines I've included such that this Python, it points in the main folder because it's inside utils. To point outside of the folder, I'm including these 2 lines. This is included for all the files which is in utils folder. For helper also, constant also. And in it we have to make it into a package. Otherwise, we won't be able to use in this functions in other folders basically. So we need to include all this in init file. Now comes the demo. So I have already set up. So first step will be to apply this command. If conda is initialized in the terminal, first we create environment followed by installing requirements. That is it. So now I'll start with the simplest examples. cd dot. So it is inside the folder. I'm pointing it outside to the main folder such that I'll be able to access this common libraries, constant function and helper function. So now these all functions are in utils folder. So from utils folder import, then I will be able to access all these functions which is included in utils folder. Then I will do configuration of Google API. Let me show you the function for it's a little bit different. So this is the function for validating whether the API key is correct or not. You can, if you guys have better idea, you can do this. But even if I don't include this, even if API key is wrong, then still it will show me that it is successfully configured. But when I'll try to run these lines of code, it will throw me an error. So I have included this such that it throws me exception, these lines of code. If you guys have better idea, you can most welcome. You guys can modify this. Then I will. Here you can see Gemini Pro constants, right? Here I've included all the environment variables. So here is Google AI Studio, the one which I showed the API key basically. I'm storing it here in .env file as environment variables. And that I'm putting it in constants as well. So these are just clean code practices basically. Now I will do model instantiation. This is done. Then I will generate content. Explain recursion to a 5-year-old. See if it works or not. And this is the response. Then we'll generate another. Write a poem on this. This is a one-piece character basically. Let's see how it writes poem. So it's doing fine in terms of text generation. Let's see the new features. So until here, it is like generic features. This is something new, which is not in OpenAI. And this is which is enabled by Google to us. So these are the safety settings we can modify programmatically here by setting the thresholds. And this values we can get from this link. Here are the settings for threshold. As per our specifications or purpose, we can change it over here. Right now, let's run it. Now we can, rather than writing in one whole line, we can, even make it into parts. We can break it down from string to a list. Then also it will work perfectly. And this is also known as chain of verification. You are asking a question and you are getting response, and based on that response, you are asking question again. So in this way, we can reduce hallucination as well. And this concept can be applied for OpenAI as well. But I'm not sure if it allows prompt parts. Then we'll see prompt feedback. It's negligible. Now, unlike OpenAI API, it allows for saving the chat history in form of JSON. Now let's see how it works. This is the example. Last text. So now it is saving, as we can see. And now we can see the whole JSON body, like how it is saved internally. So this is done. Now we'll move forward to image question and answering. This will be fun. So again, I am pointing it outside, importing libraries, configure again, the same steps initially that was involved. Then doing model instantiation. So this is vision model I'm using. I'm using a different model for image question and answering. So here I have mentioned, and in environment variables as well. For image and video, it is vision model basically. Then I'll pass some pictures and I will ask questions to it. So initially I'll ask question for this. This is the picture, and I will ask what is shown in the picture. And then I'll ask again, what are the characters doing? Let's see how it responds. So it gave response in 10 seconds. So basically it's getting downloaded also. And then again it is getting uploaded, then again it is getting inference. So within many processes are happening only in 10 seconds. So it can be said that it is quite fast for doing image to text generation. The response is this picture shows this is the question and this is the answer basically. And what are these characters doing? They're constantly fighting each other in this picture. So both questions are answered. Let's see a demo, the recommendation, anime recommendation. So I'm loading the posters of these animes. These poster. Now I'll ask questions. Name the image posters of the anime series. What this anime series have in common? What all of these have in common? And recommend the best anime series of this list that offers valuable life lessons, insights on survival in the world, and also is more relevant to the world. Now let's see how it responds. And I'm passing it in a list. So prompts and pictures are passed in a list, and then we ask questions to it. Let's see how it responds. So it gave me a long answer. Let's see how if it replied us properly or no. Name the image is posted. Okay, it answered perfectly. Till here, what are these anime have in common? This is the second question, second answer to the question, second question. All of this. And the third one, and this is the answer of the third question. So it is giving good response, but I think in my opinion it needs to be shortened. It needs to be more condensed. And I think Ultra model will be able to do it. For now, it is not available to us. So it's doing amazing job overall in terms of speed, in terms of quality. Only the answers need to be shortened, I believe. Now we'll move to third task, video question and answering. This is very new. So here we are using the Vertex AI. So we need to sign up to Google Cloud. And we need to chip in our credit cards. Once we are done, then we need to enable all the required APIs, followed by creating service account, which can be done this way. So I've already service account already created, but let me show since demo account. Yeah, I'm skipping it for now because there might be problem with the browser, which I've faced earlier also. So that is the way we create a service account, and we get the JSON file, which includes all the details. So this will be the JSON file. Similar JSON file will get once service account is created. And this will be passed into wherever we save this JSON file, that location will be passed to this environment variable, Google application credential. If there are spelling mistakes, this will not work. The whole Vertex CI library will not work for us. So this needs to be very, very accurate. And this is the helper function I created for authentication with Google service account. Pass in here. Then this is the line for authenticating whether our credentials is valid or not. This is loading from JSON file. This is loading from environment variable. Then we are loading it into a JSON file. Then we are authenticating it. Once it is successful, it will print whether it is successful or not. Otherwise, it will throw an error. And this will be using in our notebook. So again, cd, I'll be pointing to the main directory. I'll be importing functions. And I'll run this. Is successfully authenticated. For video also, we use the vision model. So for now, I believe we cannot pass in the URLs for videos. The videos can be only worked if it is stored in Google Cloud. Otherwise, it will not work. It needs to be stored in Google Cloud, and yeah, it has to be stored in Google Cloud, and we need to pass in the URI, not URL. So we have the URL in this format. And we just need to replace the storage Google APIs, then file path, not file path, storage Google APIs with this. So this indicates the URI basically. And then we need to include the file path where it is stored in the cloud. And also we need to make it publicly accessible. And then only we can pass into this function. So these examples I have already taken from the Google website. So this is how I've embedded for demo, just to show which video it is. Then now I'll ask questions to this video. What is the profession? What is the profession of this person? What are the main features of the phone highlighted? So it's, yeah, she's using the phone also. What are main features of the phone highlighted? Which city it was recorded in? So let's see how it responds. There you go. You get the response in 22 seconds for a 1 minute video. It is insanely fast. For video, we are getting this results so quickly. And I believe the speed will be improved more in the upcoming future. Now it is just the start. And it gave me answer in JSON as well. This was one of the biggest issues earlier in OpenAI. Like I used to ask it for JSON result, but never it used to give me properly. So answered correctly. She is a photographer, features night side video shoot, video boost. City is Tokyo. It answered correctly. Now we will extract tags from this video. We'll ask questions to this. What is in the video? What is the action in the video? Provide 10 best tags in this video. Let's run it. We got in 21 seconds. Let's see. Analyze. Man is wearing hat. Okay, this is correct. The man is taking. Let's see. Man is taking pictures of the artifacts. Yes. And these are the tags. Provide 10 best tags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it answered very nicely to this video. Now let's go to our last example. Retrieving extra information beyond the video. Which line is it? So we are asking the line, which location, where does it go, where it is going, heading towards which place, what are the start stations and stops. So this is not in the picture, but we are still asking, and let's see if it is able to answer correctly or not. There you go. Which line is this? So this is the line located somewhere in the world, even I don't know. I just took it from Google. Where does it go, from which direction? So it is able to tell direction also, from which direction it will go, from which location to which location. So it identified the location, and then it is able to tell where the train will go. And then it is integrating the stops also, where all the stops are. This point, this point, this point. So yeah, it works amazing, but still it is in preview mode. So once we get the full version, I believe it will be unstoppable. This amazing state of the art. So this will be available very soon. Once it is uploaded in the tech, whoever attended, this repository will be available to them. Well, feel free to connect.
Thank you, Isam. Thanks for
Thank
that.
you very
Also,
much.
guys, one thing to bear in mind is that we have a questionnaire, and the link is in the chat right now. And anyone who fills in that questionnaire, we are going to give you access to the Tech Resource Bank, and it's just a few basic questions, contact details, so we can send you the GitHub request, and then also what type of content do you want to see from Launchpad. So we're really excited to let you know about that. I'll send the link into the chat right now, and just to let you know a little bit more about Launchpad and what it is that we're doing, is that Launchpad is a group of 12 members of Coders HQ, and we are working very hard in order to bring forth not only the latest technology developments, but also our contacts and to really supercharge the coding community of the UAE. So what does that mean? That means things such as whether you want career progression or you want to maybe go down the startup route and explore that. We're gonna really showcase to you how it is that you can supercharge who it is, how you can supercharge yourself in order to really push through and take the next steps in your career and in your life and in your journey. So we're developing some cutting edge workshops. Isham mentioned it earlier on, the AI Shorts generator. We're going to be walking you through step by step how to code up a tool which can take long form YouTube content such as podcasts and clip them up into shorter videos using AI. And that is, you're going to get to see the entire workflow from the proof of concept to the back end and the stack. And then also on top of that, you will also get to see how the front end gets built. And not only that, every single participant that takes part and completes the workshop will also get access to that repository as well. So it's a way of showcasing to you guys that there's multi-million-dollar companies such as Opus.pro and TwoShorts.ai that have built their companies based on these features. So we've built this feature and we're going to be giving it away to you guys, to the participants that take place. So this is just an idea of the kind of value that we're going to be showcasing to you. It's the kind of knowledge that you can use to gain an idea for how a full stack product integration would work in your company, or if you're thinking about creating a startup, it'll show you a mindset which will allow you to complete the beginning steps and the beginning stages of a startup very quickly. So there's going to be more Launchpad Corner sessions where we ask the community what it is that they want to do, and we upskill the community, and then we also feedback with the community as well. But the workshops are another separate item entirely, and that is a lot more intensive, and it's designed to really truly push you forward and to give you the structured in a condensed format, give you the structured environment where you can really supercharge yourself and obtain a lot of value out of it. But there'll be more on our workshops shortly. Right now we'll have our corner events, and those will primarily be online. Is there anyone that wants to ask any question in particular? Feel free to raise your hands and we will go to Q&A. Isam, whilst we're waiting for people to raise their hands, I've got one question. Do you think that Gemini will be incorporated into LangChain very soon? In order, because obviously, as we know, LangChain is becoming the de facto the de facto framework for AI tool building, where you can easily swap AI models in and out. Do you think that Gemini will end up getting hooks with the LangChain?
Yes, it's already in LangChain basically.
Okay, now
yeah, but it's not fully established.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah, it's not fully not like OpenAI still. It has to be integrated fully with LangChain.
Okay.
But it is available somewhat.
Somewhat available.
And what I'm planning is, inshallah, in the future, like maybe a week or so, I'm planning to present on LangChain as well.
Yep. So that's something which I think that everyone can look forward to. Isam, another question that I have from myself personally is that, do you think that with AI tools and the way that they're developing, do you believe that it's more cost effective to go through the process of having fine-tuned models, or do you believe that having a vector store and using prompt engineering would be a better solution as opposed to the constant fine-tuning of models in order to get domain-specific knowledge? What do you think, in your opinion, would be a better approach, or approach that you would be more inclined to use right now?
So it depends on the data basically. But the best results will be given if we fine tune the model.
Okay.
But in terms of costing, if we do prompt engineering, that will save us the cost.
Yep. And there is one question that was mentioned in the chat as well, which is regarding settings. Does it enforce some settings also? So I think also over here is that what Ahmed has said over here is that I think if requirements of shortening the answer is provided as a separate prompt, it will shorten it too. So this is when you were speaking about the prompt earlier on, Isham, and you were talking about how the length can sometimes be quite long. I think that's what it is that Ahmed is talking about. With regards to enforcement of settings, I believe that this was said roughly around the time that you were talking about the text generation side of things. Ahmed, if you want to expand upon that, exactly what you want about settings and things like that, then we can go into that. Other than that, is there anyone that has any other questions, or is there anyone from the Launchpad team that has any questions, as this was meant to be an internal Launchpad event? It's on Q&A. It didn't come through. Any ideas about the least below which these settings become irrelevant? For instance, if I upload my picture and ask it to blend it with one of Tom Cruise, will it do it, provided all the settings are at negligible? Isam, do you want to take that away?
Yes. I haven't tried that, but that is a good idea. We can try it out.
Okay, that's
uploading. Yeah, it is very nice use case.
Yeah, I mean that's something which is quite interesting,
Yes.
an interesting approach that people might use. Oh, Sheher, go ahead. Sheher wants to speak.
Yes, so I would like actually to thank everyone who attended the session, and I would like to hear from you guys as a feedback. What do you think about the session? If anyone can raise his hand, and then you can talk about it.
What channel should we follow to keep up with events? So you have the YouTube channel, which you have the Coders HQ WhatsApp community group, and on there you'll find the Coders Launchpad channel. You can also go to Linktree /Coders Launchpad, and then you'll find all the links to our specific communities and things like that. We're most active on WhatsApp currently right now. There's content being sent out every single day. Rama, go ahead, and then also I can see that Arshid has raised his hand as well. Rama, if you want to go first.
Yes, for sure. I just wanted to actually kind of ask, in which aspects would we use Gemini over the open AI? And apart from that, Sham, the entire workshop that you've done hands-on, it was amazing. So thank you. And yeah.
So, for OpenAI, okay, even if we do small scale projects, we still need to pay some amount. But they have, like the Google team, they have made it free for 60 API per calls. If it exceeds 60 API per calls, then they will start charging. And even if they charge also, it is very less compared to OpenAI. And it is giving very good results at this moment. So we expect Google Ultra to give us more better results. And I believe it will be cheaper than OpenAI.
I think that one thing to bear in mind as well is that it's likely like there's a lot of companies that are aware of AI, but they haven't yet. So someone says 60 queries per minute. Mohammed Yasser says 60 queries per minute. But what I was saying was that a lot of companies are aware of AI, but they haven't yet adopted it. And one of the likely reasons is that you cannot rely on a single supplier when you reach a certain size. So now that we're seeing that Gemini is becoming a viable solution to go down the API route, when we're talking about integrating AI solutions, that's something which is very powerful. And I think very soon we're going to see a lot more companies adopting AI at a faster rate than they already were. Now, the next person who raised their hand was Mohammed Arshid. If you want to go ahead, ask your question or say whatever else it is that you want to say, and we can take it from there, please.
Yeah, thanks, Saif. And I would, as Shahid told, I wanted to give feedback regarding this session. Thanks a lot, Isham. It was very, very wonderful and informative. And you are the one earliest, you can say, pioneers who has tested it out. I know it was the very latest release. And thank you for sharing. And surely we will do a demo and playing around. So we have to use the tool to every one of you in the room has to see the demo inspiration from Isham to try it out. As Ahmed also asked some questions, try it out. It is very easy to experiment and see how this model works. And in my personal experience, and also as a suggestion and comparison regarding OpenAI and any other tools, Google is comparatively the cheapest. We all have been playing around with Colab. They have given a free limited access, but most of the things can be done for experimentation. Google is a good place for people to learn, and it is less costly, as Isham and Yasir mentioned. It is affordable unless you don't build a product and have a lot of API calls per minute. Until then, it can be free and very less compared to the OpenAI costs. And thanks a lot for organizing this, and looking forward for more such interesting and great sessions.
Yeah, thanks for that, Muhammad Rashid. And one thing that I think as well, which is like underrated, is that a lot of people, they go down, when it comes onto costs about how to use API calls, is that they decide to do everything through the whatever AI interface it is that they're using. And that's something which I think people are missing the point, is that you don't have to send everything to an LLM. There are things that you can do on device which will save you these costs. And Anas, who is part of the Launchpad team, he's someone who I think excels in thinking in that regard. But yeah, that's something which we may bring up on a future Launchpad Corner and things like that. There was someone who had their hands raised. It was Sia. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If you want to go ahead, your hand's not raised now, but if you still want to go ahead and ask your question or make your point, please feel free.
Yes, please, thank you. And first off, thank you for an incredible session. It was really informative. My question is that I know we've only had a week or so with Gemini as compared to a whole year with ChatGPT, but what are your early what are your observations on the safety predictions when it comes to how far you can push the AIs, and what are your predictions in the future regarding the safety protocols?
Yeah, Isam, you're the one that's so Isam. In terms of if you want to take the current safety protocols and how they can interface, how you can currently interface with them, and then I will answer the sort of where I think it's going to go in the future. I'll take that part if you want to answer the technical side.
Yeah, so at this moment, if we use Google AI Studio, then it allows us to configure the settings for the safety, whether if it is like if the risk is low or risk is higher, as I've shown the documentation. Now in OpenAI, they don't do that, they take care of it, but Google is giving us flexibility in that case. So
yeah,
like it's upon us basically, we have the control for the safety, like whether the output should be less risky or high risky.
Yeah, I mean if we wanted to control the outputs, then we would have to use something like NVIDIA guardrails if we were going to use OpenAI. So, that would be one of the outputs, whereas obviously Google is allowing a certain degree of control, even though it's basic, it is more than what OpenAI uses. Now, in terms of where we think that safety might go in the future of AI, I think it's going to depend country to country. There is the recently released EU AI Act, the updated EU AI Act, and what we can see, and again, Muhammad Arshad, we spoke about this on your LinkedIn show, which was about liabilities, and that is something which is going to come to the forefront, which is liabilities. Is the production going to be, or is the output going to somehow disparage certain people who fall into certain categories, and what would the repercussions of that be? So it's something which, again, the lawmakers are jumping more straight toward the governance of AI rather than allowing it to flourish. And it's something which I think that we can expect to see heavy regulation over AI over the next year especially, what we've seen is that there's been a lot of tools that have been released that are more for like dev testing and dev environments and things like that, and now people are starting to get to the stage, or these AI facilitators are starting to get to the stage where they're being more readily adopted in production environments. And that is where we're going to see quite a lot of safety regulations and things like that, because there is liabilities, which is a very real thing. And we will see a lot of court cases, so it is possible that it would be overly aggressive in the safety values that it outputs. But I think that you may also see as well that the open source market for AI is going to become a real hotbed, I think, for the models that are basically quicker and faster. They might not necessarily be more accurate, but what they can allow is that if you need to produce something which again is not covered by the terms and conditions or triggers a safety feature. I think we're all aware that sometimes when you use ChatGPT, it can be extremely sensitive, even if you're just asking for basic advice. So yeah, just to answer your question in a longer term way, is that where do we think it going? Me personally, judging by all the laws that are being passed in the US and the EU and the UK, I think it's going to go to heavily restricted policies and safety. EU AI safety is going to be a huge topic. It's going to be the next GDPR, I believe. So I hope that answers your question. Is there anyone else that wants to ask a question, or Insia, do you have any follow-up to that? Mohammed Arshid, your hand is still raised, by the way. I don't know if I should come up to sorry, Insia, go ahead.
I was just saying thank you.
Okay, no worries, thank you. Yep, so that's it. I think I can't see anything else in terms of raised hands. In the Q&A, we've addressed the Q&A question. I'll just double check the chat. And we've covered everything that's in the chat also. So if everyone can remember to click the link in the chat, fill in the form, and we will make sure that you get access to that repository. Also, let us know if you had to pick just one of the options that we show over there. What is it that you'd want to see? And it's something that we'll ask every week, and we'll tailor our content to you guys based on the results that you give back. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks.